As promised, I'm here to show you lovely subscribers what we mean, us Brits mean by Scotch eggs and how to make them. They're really easy to do and they're a quick little snack, or you can make a meal out of them and have them with a side. I am by no means a cook, but this is just something that we make at home and we wanted to share it with you as a lot of our patrons requested that we post the recipe. So here we go. Over here I've got 5 medium hard-boiled eggs, but the recipe might only allow for 4, but I like to do an extra one because who doesn't like hard-boiled eggs sometimes as a snack? Just to start this recipe then, you need some sausage meat. This one is lightly seasoned, but it doesn't have to have any seasoning in it. You can use pork mince, but it's a bit more difficult because the consistency, or you can get some sausages, cut that skin off and just mash it up like you would do with sausage gravy. Open that up and chuck that into this bowl. This is a lightly seasoned sausage meat. You don't have to have any seasoning on it whatsoever. Just get whatever you can get your hands on because we're going to season it ourselves anyway. Just with a fork, just mash it up a little bit. Its consistency is quite good already with sausage meat, but you just need to mash it up a little bit so that we can add those extra ingredients. Over here I've got some spring onions that have been washed. So I've got 3 spring onions. Let's just go with 2 to start with. I'm just going to finely chop these up rather appallingly. I should say that was 400 grams of sausage meat. I will post the full recipe along with conversions into American if you want to follow us. And just at the moment, 2 spring onions, just finely chopped up. I'm just going to chuck that in there. Might go for a 3rd onion yet. Let's have a look. Let's have a little mix. No, we're good with 2 for the consistency. So you can use in this any kind of onion you like, or you can use chives, whatever your preference is really. We quite like spring onions in it because it's not too overpowering. So go with whatever you like. Next we've got just some salt and pepper. Now I usually just season as I find fit, but you're gonna want measurements. Let's just go with 1/8 teaspoon of salt. Got some ground black pepper. Again, do the same, 1/8 teaspoon, no more. Of course you can adjust these to your liking. Just give it another little mix. Okay, finally, this is where the recipe that we like to do comes into its own. Here I've got some mild curry powder. Now this is Indian curry powder, so hopefully you can get that. You can try it with any different spices like chili, cumin. Just have a play around and see what works for you. But for this particular one, we're gonna be using curry powder. So if you wanna follow this one, I suggest you do the same. Now with the curry powder, you're gonna want at least 1/4 teaspoon to 1/2 teaspoon of curry powder in there. Do you know what I'd say half. Go 1/2 teaspoon of curry powder. It's not spicy, it's just enough flavor really. That literally is all. Next up, just gonna peel my hard-boiled eggs and set them to the side. Okay, the rings are coming off for this bit because we're about to get messy. If you're gonna get professional, you probably wanna split this equally into 4 balls, but I just go with what I feel. And just another tip for the boiled eggs, I've gone for hard boiled. As you do this recipe, you can go for softer boiled eggs and play around with that consistency of the egg inside. It is easier to do with hard boiled eggs at first, so have a go at that, and then if you really like it, then try with soft boiled eggs as well. But let us know down in the comments below if you try this recipe and how you get on, because we really wanna hear back from you. And then literally you just want to wrap your egg carefully so you don't burst the egg in the sausage mixture. The reason I always do an extra egg is because you never know how far the mixture is actually going to go, because even though they're medium-sized eggs, they all come in different shapes and sizes. Okay, that's fine. You want to give it a little firm pat, if you like. It is going to be a little bit sticky, but that way the sausage meat encases the egg with hopefully no cracks. So just repeat for all the eggs. I reckon 4 medium eggs is about right for this, for 400 grams of sausage meat. One step I should have done before, because it is going to get really messy, but I'm just going to go with it now. Over here, I've got an egg. I'm just going to beat that quickly. It's actually a large egg. Perfect. Over here, I've got some breadcrumbs, which I made earlier. So I did just make that from toast, and I put them in the food processor. One thing I would say, I've probably done mine a little bit too fine. So I'd say try to get them a little bit more chunky if you can. And then the next thing is literally take egg wrapped in sausage meat, dip in egg, and roll in the breadcrumbs. I'm not very organised because I should have a tray and all sorts out here, so I'm going to just borrow my chopping board over here. and repeat. You might need an extra egg for dipping depending on how big each Scotch egg ball turns out to be, and you might need more breadcrumbs. Now I'm going to do these in the air fryer, so the noise behind me is just the air fryer preheating. That's on 200 degrees Celsius, which I think is about 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to cook them for about 12 minutes, possibly a bit longer because I'm going to check them, and if they're not golden brown enough, but after 12 minutes they should be cooked. I'm going to do a little cheat. I have got some store-bought breadcrumbs because they are a little bit thicker in consistency. I'm just going to do a little double dip. One of the things I do like about a Scotch egg is the crunchy coating, so that's what you want. So if you do go too fine on the breadcrumbs, you won't get that crunch that you necessarily deserve, I'd say. Now, Scotch eggs to me should be big like this. You can make them smaller, you can have less sausage meat, but I think this is quite a good ratio that for 400 grams to 4 eggs, in my opinion, and that's just my personal preference, but you might have to play around with it like a less of a sausage meat coating. One thing I would stay away from is the small Scotch eggs that you can actually buy. I don't think you can buy them over in the States, but you can definitely get them over here. They're nice, they're all right to snack on. They're about so big. Stay away from them because the egg you get inside is kind of like a scrambled egg. It's not a proper Scotch egg and you will be disappointed. My air fryer's got to temperature, so I've just got the basket out here. I am just gonna place the Scotch eggs into here evenly. You can do this in the oven. I would suggest if you do it in the oven, you're just going to want to vary your temperatures very slightly. So with the air fryer that I've got, it recommends that everything you do, you adjust the temperature by 15 degrees and you also vary the cooking time by 20%. You can also do these in the oven, so I'll pop some details down below for cooking these in the oven rather than the air fryer. To be honest, I find cooking in the air fryer a lot quicker and a lot easier, but before I had the air fryer, I used to do it in the oven anyway. The last thing I'm going to do is just give it a little spritz of oil. We're going to pop these on for about 6 to 10 minutes. We're going to have a look, turn them halfway through, pop them in for another 6 to 10 minutes. The Scotch eggs have been going for 7 minutes. So what I did is I just quickly had a check on them. Just going to turn them over very quickly. We'll come back in about 7 minutes. They should be cooked by then, but we'll have another little check on them. They look lovely and golden brown. They have been in for 14 minutes in total. I may just turn them back over. I think I just want them to crisp up a little bit more on the other side. So I'm going to pop them back in for another 2 more minutes. The total cook time was 16 minutes. I think 16 minutes is a good amount of time for the size of the Scotch eggs that I made, but obviously you can check the internal temperature just to make sure that it's cooked thoroughly. I was thinking, should I just eat one or should I go and shout Mr. H down and see if he wants to try one as well? I'm not sure.
What?
Let's pop one on a plate and see. Look at that. As I thought, I shouted out, would you like to try a Scotch egg on camera? And this one comes running down, ready for a taste test.
The best bit, this is. Oh. That is a Scotch egg.
Now I'm just going to quarter these to let them cool down a little bit before we taste test. I know someone's very eager to try it, and I don't want him to burn his little mouth.
To all our friends watching this, you should really try this out. I'm a big fan of Scotch eggs, always have been. They are lovely, and the homemade ones are amazing, and my mouth
is watering.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do with Scotland. They're on English food. You could have it with something like chips, you can have it with salads, you can just eat it as a snack, but you can do what we're going to do and just eat it.
Just eat it.
You might burn your mouth because they are literally just come out the oven.
Really nice and crispy, and smells amazing. Is it curry powder in there?
Curry powder. I think they're going to be a bit too hot to try.
Yeah.
Bit of egg on the floor over there, Mr. H. I do feel a little bit weird rating my own food when it's not a US recipe, but they're just really good. You've got to go and try them.
If you do like this and you want to see us do more videos on British food, then don't forget to subscribe and like this video. It really helps us out.
those extra few minutes do just help with the crispiness. So please do it. And if you've got an air fryer, I recommend you do them in the air fryer because you get that crispiness even more so when you would in an oven. You can also deep fat fry these, but you don't need to. You don't need to make them deep fat fried. You don't need to add that excess oil to them.
No.
They're perfect oven baked.
They're really, really nice oven baked.
So this is my favourite recipe for the Scotch egg with all those little ingredients. But like I said earlier, play around, try different seasonings, try different mixtures or ratios, whatever you like. Just have fun with it. The main thing is you cook an egg, you wrap it in the sausage meat, put some breadcrumbs on it and enjoy it.
And all that leaves us to say is...
Take care.
God bless.
And see you in the next video.